We got junk GTP. We're good. We are in good company here. All right. What is happening, party people? Today, I'm hosting. Trevor's gone. No, he's downstairs. But he's handed over the microphone to me, and we got a interesting topic today here. We have how our products are made, or more importantly, what do we do here? Like, what do we do? So, I'm Tyler. We got,
I'm Bo.
And I'm Alex.
and then Mr. McClure here. He's lost some
missing
weight.
in action.
He's lost some weight.
He actually has lost a good amount of weight.
Yeah,
Look,
he
he's
has.
He's a
looking
slim
good.
guy now.
He's looking better.
I found every bit he'd lost and picked it right up.
Everyone talks about the ZZP 15, and somehow I've lost weight since I've gotten here. So I'd say I'm doing all right.
Doing great.
So I guess we'll start off with us three. Alex and I sit in on the R&D meetings every week, and we're part of that. Bo, now being install bay manager, has made his way.
I've only missed one R&D meeting since.
Yep. He's made his way into them as well. So I guess that kind of gives you guys a sense of how we go about things.
Every Tuesday we, group of people within ZZP sit down and just kind of hash everything out. Talk about problems, talk about good things, talk about what we're doing.
Yep.
Collectively, everybody's busy doing their own thing during the week, and it's really fresh to come together, just sit down for an hour and a half, and
Have a list of stuff you're pissed about. Have a list of stuff that
yeah,
you want to make happen. And it lasts anywhere from an hour to 3 hours, and
It does.
well, every time.
Dude, you know what? Al was referencing the other day how many times we came close to the max limiter,
Yep.
and I'm like, we give Tyler a lot of that, but let's, there is some credit there for.
There's one thing he does well, and that's getting as close to the line as possible.
Because if you hit it, it's full off. Full off. You're not making it back.
Yep.
But so at this point, we've got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're closing in on almost a dozen people in this R&D meeting, and it's not everyone's an engineer here. We have, I guess, what you'd say 2 or 3 dedicated engineers, where that's in their title, but we all kind of do a bit of everything, like we've always talked about. So we've got people like Al, who does a lot of the tuning and kind of more obscure R&D things. You've got Alex, who has been an exhaust specialty person for us for the last few years, but he has his hands in 10 other buckets as well. So we get a real diverse look at problems. We have all levels of skill and knowledge and experience too. I mean, me and you have been in R&D meetings for a couple years now, and then you've had Matt Meekoff, who's been there since day one.
Yeah.
So,
and I think the variance of skill set in the meeting is what brings such value to it. The difference of opinion, you've got CNC guys in there, you've got 2-bender guys in there, you've got tuners in there, you've got people with lots of just general wrenching on car experience, and that, bringing all that together really kind of helps us bash out.
Yeah, it does really help having so many different perspectives all in one meeting.
because you look at, say, GM, for example, and you always hear about the two sides of a product or a engine. For example, you have the engineers made it this way because they think that that's the best, but then you have the mechanics who bitch about a starter being in the V of an engine, or some stupid thing that you've got to go through 14 other steps. So if you have someone like me who has no engineering background and is like, okay, I've worked on some cars, I know that this sucks to do. How do we make that better? Yeah. And then you've got like Tim C, who can look at it from a more analytical standpoint.
There's Jeff. Bing bong.
Bing bong.
Literally just yesterday, me, Tim, and Alex were hashing out a new product, and 3800 product. So I had
Alex, and I.
Tim, Alex, and I were hashing out a product. So I had my 2 cents in the bucket, and Tim's like, "Well, I want to do it this way," and Alex is like, "Well, I want to do it this way." I'm like, "Well, no, I want to do it this way," and we did that for like 5 to 7 minutes, and and then all of a sudden we all came together on the perfect solution
Yeah, it was
that
brilliant.
suited basically everybody's needs and was something that we hadn't individually, none of us had thought about
Yep.
or even would have thought about. But because we all argued for about 5 minutes, we now have the perfect solution to the only piece we were missing to this new product.
Yep.
And it's going to be awesome, and it's doing more than what the one piece does. You know, it's kind of got two jobs, and it's just the different aspects that everybody brings to the table is really what.
What were you guys working on? Can you say?
I mean, I could, but there's no reason to. Because then everybody will complain because it's not out tomorrow.
That's true. That's true. 3,800 boys are going to buy it anyway, so.
And I think another awesome advantage of our team coming together is often touching on the point you were just saying, you have engineers and then you have the guys that do the work. Well, if you bring the guys together, the engineers are also doing the work and the guys doing the work are also doing engineering. You get rid of that, oh, this sucks to do, or the engineer has installed the part, so they know it's terrible to do. I would say though, there's always like a generic baseline of fundamentals that we go by, which we always want to make parts that are as easy as possible to install. They're platform specific, and they're going to be affordable.
Yes,
we are laid down on that, and that's often where the hashing out comes in, built on those foundational points.
Because could we make one more piece out of billet? Sure, and it would look
Always.
great. But it costs time. It costs money. Our CNC machines are always backed up. So then that's another thing that many people don't think about. We have a CNC lathe and why can I never think mill? And they're always in use. They're always running. So
all the time.
when we're coming up with a new product and we say, oh yeah, some billet stands on this would be great. It's like, yeah, it would, but when are we going to fit that in?
Yeah. So much to the point, I'm not a CNC guy, but I literally get them running in the morning just because, every minute we can have them running production a little bit longer. Yeah. And also it makes it very difficult to do prototyping because every time we're doing prototyping, no production is happening.
Yep. You got to change setups and clamps and I don't know.
Yeah.
Technical CNC terms.
I haven't been able to focus my brain as much lately on research and development related things, but I have running the install bay. I see the end result now more than I've seen the beginning of it.
Yep.
So one thing I think we're really good at around here is we're always improving and picking up. We've had this product out for 2-3 years, but let's make a change to it.
Yeah.
A small change, and we'll implement that from here on out, and it's a better product than it was even before. And
that's one of my favorite parts about having the install bays right alongside the engineering.
Yes.
Like literally, there is a shelf that separates where the parts are made and where they're put on.
Right.
So it's not uncommon for Chris over here to be putting a part on, and he's
like, this sucks.
He's 3 hurt knuckles into it, and he's just like over at Tim C. Like, hey, what's up, man? This is for lack of better terms bullshit.
Yeah.
And then we go off of that. So it is really, I do enjoy seeing all the parts being assembled, because before I was just putting on 3,800 parts. Now I'm very involved in all the platforms. So.
And I think that's the strength of ZZP. It's like everything we're making, we're installing on vehicles. It's not we've test fitted it once on a vehicle and then we ship it out. The install bay is full all the time. We got 6 bays. Always cars. All our platform cars are in there, and we're installing the parts.
And we're always yelling at each other because there's no bays available to try your other thing.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's, getting into one interesting topic that we can all share is, how did you come into R&D and how did you start into the product development process? And my original thought was, right after the pandemic, I was doing a lot of customer service. And I kept seeing these issues come in over and over and over again. And I was doing live chats and I was talking with these guys, and they would bring up issues. And then I thought, well, there's no one in R&D, at least at that point, 2 years ago, that heard these complaints from customers.
At least not directly.
Yeah, not directly, because it can get lost. You write your note down and say, hey, let me talk to XYZ about this, and it might not never happen. So I thought, okay, well, that'll be my kind of foot into the door. So I just showed up to the R&D meeting one day, and I sat down, and Tim C. looks over, and he goes, what are you doing here?
That's what he does to everybody.
Yeah. Yep. So, that was a good start of, hey, these are some issues. Let's work on, going from there. And then down the line, I started working on suspension stuff and coilover stuff, and here we are.
Yeah, we talk a lot about race team things as well, because, our race team is probably what we design a lot of our parts around and push the furthest on our race-applicated vehicles, kind of like your Camaro this year, and
Yep.
you're going to be driving that a lot. So, we're always talking about racing plans. What's Al's doing this weekend? Who's going to the track? Matt's going to the track with this car. What are we taking? What are we testing? What are we pushing? So I think it's engineering and race team all in one. That meeting is just it's great for everybody to come together on all aspects of what we're doing at the time.
And the race team brings out the biggest problems because we go out there, we push the cars, we break things,
Yes.
and then we come back and we go, okay, this keeps breaking. What do we do?
Yeah. Yeah, and what's great is we have obviously a fleet of vehicles here that have our parts on, and it may not be seen as so great. Everyone who drives them beats the life out of them, but at the same time, it's really good because it gives us a chance to get hundreds and always, ideally, thousands of miles on products, and they're hard miles. Like, I'm thinking of the Blue Sonic right now. Anyone who drives that thing rips the life out of it.
Yeah, that's a great example.
Why
I used a quarter of a tank ripping on that thing yesterday.
Why are the 1.4s the ones that always get beat the living piss out of?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that car's been, we've been working on parts on that car for a year, and we've driven it to the track. We run world record times with it. We drive it home. Al takes it to Indiana that night. We drive it back, and shoot.
Yeah.
Like, that car is either getting beat, raced, or tested on.
Yep.
Yeah.
At all times.
All the
it's
time.
like it's like let's make a quarter-mile record run for an automatic 1.4, and then let's see how good a gas mileage we can get right afterwards.
Yeah.
Literally right afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leave the track and head on home.
And that's, what we want to offer you guys is, for example, the prototype products that are on the 1.4, they've been on there for a year. They've been completely abused. It gives us that reassurance that when we're releasing them to market, you guys can have that confidence that we have tested them extensively, abused on them, and any issues would have come up in that time, hopefully,
Yeah,
And-
I know a lot of the Cruise Sonic guys have been really chomping at the bit waiting on this new turbo that we've been talking about for over a year.
Yep.
But the reason we've been talking about it for over a year is because we're making sure that it is ready to go.
Yep. And on a very price-conscious platform, a turbo that, it's going to be, in ZZP fashion, as cheap as we can make it. So it's
Within
affordable,
reason.
but it's still going to be a big upgrade. So we want to make sure that if people are dropping this coin on it, they're going to love it.
That's an important thing to bring up. Coin.
Yeah.
Money. And that's where I think it's an interesting side of our engineering department is trying to make stuff repeatedly and for as cheap as possible. It's hard, man.
It is hard.
It's really hard to do that. You've got to utilize all different types of equipment and everything from the guy welding the parts together to the original design. It's got to be as efficient as possible, and that really takes some thought.
It does, and you've brought a great deal of that to the table with just overall price, like overviews. You're looking over products that we haven't done price overviews in a while, and the processes that go into, especially fab, like our new ATS-V V2 downpipes. You looked at the existing product that we were making and said, okay, where can we cut seconds out of? And while making one downpipe, a couple seconds doesn't seem like that much time. When we are making hundreds of them, it's going to cost us money and cost the customers money.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and as soon as they're done welding ATS-V downpipes, they can get on 3800 guy stuff that they've been waiting for. So it all works out.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have done a great job doing that.
The key word or key phrase of describing like the core of our R&D is cost effectiveness. 'Cause it's not just about finding the cheapest way to do something. It's the cheapest, realistically reasonable way.
and
Like
to
it-
still make a good product.
Right. It's understanding when good enough actually is good enough.
Yep.
Like I don't know. Well, just to pull an unrelated example, like if you just want nice wheels for your daily driver, then some like drags are fine.
Yeah.
If you're out road coursing on the complete time attack level, they're not fine.
Yeah.
So it's that type of mentality of knowing where you can keep things affordable, where you can't, and a lot of what he was just talking about was you found a good chunk of labor we could cut out of those and streamline the process.
Yeah.
And continually doing that is how we're able to keep our prices low on everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as we grow as a business, what's great is we've been able to invest in equipment, and part of the reason people have to take on multiple roles is we can't have an R&D team. We're not big enough where there's just one suspension guy, there's one brake guy, there's one engine guy. Like we can't do that.
We all have to know.
We all have to pick up the slack,
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us would like to operate that way anyway.
No, I wouldn't like to be stuck in a single. Like I'm thinking of Adam Wagner. He loves his job. He works for Hyundai, or Kia. I never know. But all he does all day is program transmissions, and that is it. Just every day, he's on the dyno, changing shift points, milliseconds here and there, and like he likes his job. But it's not this. It's not here. You're involved in everything. And
one thing I think mine and Tyler's favorite thing to do is take a product for maybe a different application or maybe two different applications, and we already have the stuff here in-house on hand, fittings maybe, or a bracket of some sort, and then we conglomerate all these pieces and make a new product out of stuff we already had here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is fun.
It's satisfying because it's like, yeah, we have this, and now we have a new product.
I mean, that's what 2/3 of the entry-level kit was.
Yeah. We had a turbo adapter plate, and you're like, well, why don't we make a whole
Just make
kit?
some charge pipes and lines and send this out.
Yeah.
And here we are. Now we're putting it on goblins and freaking everything now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Also, not a big goblin fan. Not a big goblin fan.
No.
Yeah, stay tuned on social media. We got a really nice goblin in here.
After driving one.
Shout outs to Scott Geyer. Brought us a nice goblin in for an entry level.
It is nice.
It's a great
and
vehicle.
Scary
but
fast.
Yeah, rocket ship.
It was scary fast on gate pressure.
Yeah.
It doesn't need any more.
Yeah. Now imagine Justin's.
Oh, at like 600 horse.
Yeah.
No. No wonder he only takes it to the road course. Well, no, he goes and he flogs it on the street too.
Yeah, he had it at the Dragon.
Nope. I had like metal around my head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of our products come to life just by, working within our resources. And, I mean, like, for example, the brake kit on the GXP comes to mind. And, the exhaust on the GXP comes to mind.
And
I mean, how much do we have to do before we could release that kit?
Yeah, it was just a day of tinkering around with parts we had. And
two
it's like,
exhaust adjustments.
Yeah.
We were good to go.
But you being a 3800 and a W body specialist brought that to our attention. I mean, we've made a downpipe for GXPs for, I don't know, as long as I can remember.
A long time.
But we've never had a catback. And it wasn't until somebody was like, hey, W body catback.
Hey, you
come
missed
on."
one. Oh, would you look at that?
Oh,
Yeah,
there
now
we
all
are.
the Impala LS4 guys are going to be like, you missed me too!
Well, all 6 of them.
Yeah, were those super popular cars or no?
I don't know. I mean, they're
I feel like the GXP was far more popular.
Yeah. Although the old Monty, or not old, but 7th gen or 8th gen Monty SSs, I think were still my favorite.
What's really cool is like we had an ATSV customer bring his car by today, and it seems like all of our ATSV guys have had a Grand Prix. Like they came to us because back in the day they had a Grand Prix. And I really can connect with all of them. I appreciate it because they all are like, yeah, man. You know, we work out their ATSV.
You guys are a different kind of people.
Well, all I'm like is cool. I'm gonna have an ATSV.
Bo's like
the trajectory of 3800.
This is where that leads.
12 years from now. Okay, all right.
But yeah, he's like, yeah, I seen that GXP up front. I'm like, yeah, that's mine. We
They
pop
can
the
still
hood like that.
appreciate a W body.
Oh yeah, they all do. They all have the best stories. I mean, I think, yeah, that was a great time. Yeah, for modding cars in ZZP. I mean, I think it brought a lot of all of our platforms together, and now they either have an ATS or a V or
Mm-hmm.
even an Ecotech.
I feel like a lot of the Cobalt dudes move into ATSs. That seems like a natural progression. And then the Sonic, I don't know where the Sonic people are going to go yet. A lot of the ones that talk to me regularly have bought Cobalts.
Okay.
So it's like their step up into a Cobalt, and then who knows
Yeah,
where they'll
because
go
I
from
can
there.
see that you get a Sonic and it's all the GM goodiness, manual, turbo, and then
But
you
it's
mod
slow.
it, and then you realize you need that 2-liter.
Yeah, it makes a big difference.
Yep. And what's cool is you could have like a fully built Sonic for a daily, and then have an Ecotech race car,
Mhm.
or I'd say Ecotech.
Yeah,
uh,
or really like a weekend car,
Ecotechs. Yeah,
whatever
you
you
could have
want
a Delta chassis race car.
Yep, Ashley went ATS.
Yep, she did. Yeah, us 3800 guys, we stick with the V6 boosted V6.
Yeah.
I fixed my ignition switch recall with the fuel tech.
I was gonna say we just delete them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't speak to this much myself, but I know all of you guys, daily driving platform cars. That's another great way. What components we want to develop next, come up with, or what
Yeah.
you guys manage to break, or just having that detailed eye of, hey, we can make this better, or we can do this, or how can we make the platform?
And it's other people within the company getting into platform cars that also bring an extra head, like Tim Beek just got a base model Cobalt, and he's like, I want this part
Full
and this
build.
part and this part and this part.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't make any of those for the base model? Okay, well, we better start. And I mean, I've been a base model boy the whole time, and
Yeah.
we're
Base model
underrepresented.
guys that are watching, I have a feeling that there's going
base
to be
model
some
guys.
things happening.
Yep.
That is funny. Stay tuned, base model
my
boys.
my brain's been touching on that subject for a while now.
NA, decent power,
It's
high RPM.
it's a new challenge.
It is.
Yeah, we're getting ready to put together an NA 3800 too. So all you NA guys are gonna be satisfied this.
I
summer.
asked Bo
Yeah.
what it would rev to, and he said something like 5,500, and I was like, 8? You mean?
I definitely didn't say.
I know.
5500.
I think you said 6,500.
What? Why? Take it to 8.
That's what I'm saying.
You can't run
push
past
rods
7.
at 8.
Yeah, you can, and we know how.
We know how.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's this customer? I need to have a chat with him.
No, it's our car.
Oh, the
The
gray
silver
one?
car.
The silver car.
Heck yeah! Turn that thing up.
Yep. Matt
Yep.
handed me the cam yesterday. Said make it happen. I said yes, sir.
It's going to get a cam. It's going to get some valve springs,
And you know
maybe
what
an
that's gonna have?
HV4.
It's gonna have the best sounding exhaust out there.
It is.
The
It's gonna have
supercharged cars. You can't really hear it. That thing is gonna sing, man.
Yeah.
Intake noises and that. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I'm pretty excited.
yep. That's got the OG equalizer on that car.
Oh, the
Mhm.
prototype.
The prototype.
Before it got
So,
busted.
It's super busted.
yeah. So that's a good jumping off point. How does our process work? Somebody brings up an idea, say like,
F around and find out.
yeah, but we don't go straight to milling out a billet piece. A big help lately for the last 2 years has been Trevor and his 3D printing.
Oh.
Yeah. Don't forget Trevor and the 3D printer.
It's so
Extremely
True.
helpful.
much easier and affordable to make a plastic piece of whatever you may be producing to test fit. We were working on our F-35 upper trans mount, and if you guys have seen, our new Cobalt upper engine mount and our Sonic upper engine mount are very similar, and Tim C designed them that way so they could be modular. So we use one main piece, and then the base changes, and then the fingers or the ears, wherever it connects to the engine or trans, changes as well. So we can at least keep one, and the bushings all the same. So Tim's working on the F-35 upper trans mount. He says, okay, Trevor, here I've got a model. Trevor whips it up on the 3D printer. Then we test it on the car. Okay, it's an 1/8 inch off here. If we were to make that part out of billet every time, we'd be wasting
A lot of
a
money.
lot of money.
For sure, and it goes back to that stopping production when we're doing that, and
Yep.
also the cost of steel and aluminum is through the roof right now. So
Yeah, I think the value of not having to stop the mill may be worth even more than just the material cost difference.
totally,
Probably.
'Cause you can't get away from drawing the model. You have to do that,
Right.
Whether you're 3D printing it or CNC machining it, you've got to draw the model. So if you can then move that next step to 3D printing, oh yeah, it's kind of slow. But if it's like, well, you have it printing overnight, you come in the next morning, it's ready to test.
Yeah.
It's super efficient.
It works out pretty well.
Yeah.
Very. And
I can't wait for the day that metal printers are affordable.
Oh,
I know, right?
like you've seen some of the stuff that Randy has shown you.
Gosh, yeah.
They're making 3D printed pistons now and 3D printed rods and all that. Like, but you can use them in in an engine and withstand all those forces. That's pretty neat.
It's neat.
And I don't know if you guys have seen like the 3D printing pens you can get now too. That they're full of filament and you just draw. So you can just draw whatever you want.
So like you can draw in 3D.
Uh-huh. It's finally here. The future. Boobs.
Yeah. Honk honk. Bing bong.
Bing bong.
In fact, talking of 3D printers, that's a cool thing. We've just bought a new 3D printer. We've balled out. Trevor was using his own personal one here for a while, and we were seeing, how much use are we getting out of this thing, and we saw the value in it. And we balled out on a bigger machine.
Big one, yeah.
More capability, and that's the sweet thing about how you guys, the more products you buy from us, the money gets put into, buying new equipment, buying the CNC machines, buying the tube bender, getting more guys here.
Yep. That and
The reinvestment in this company is phenomenal.
I've always talked about that, and it comes from Zoom. Zoom is a person, he's not into material things. Everything that we make here and he makes, he puts back into ZZP. And that's how we've been able to continue to expand. And we're at 50 employees now, and we're still going. And the only reason we're only at 50 is our building. If we had more space, we would have 2 more CNC machines, and we would have 2 more, or another dude running those. Like, it's great to see that the administration and everyone wants to see more from us, for what we're making, more for our customers. You really can't find it.
Yeah, there's no coasting here. Not allowed.
We're on the limiter all the time.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Literally and figuratively.
Yep.
And that just drives also into the engineering and our kind of foundational ethos is we all want to do well. We want the company to succeed. We know how much enjoyment we get out of vehicles. We just want to provide that to the end user as well.
Yeah.
We really care about that. We want, when you receive stuff, it looks good when you pull it out of the box. It's easy to install, and you get noticeable gains. Like we're all about that. The same thing that we want when we buy car parts ourselves.
And when we are buying those parts for our own personal vehicles and we get excited for them, it just makes it that much easier.
Yeah, you'd think you wouldn't be excited working here, but I'm still just as excited.
Oh my
anytime I
gosh,
get
every
in
time
here.
I get a new part?
Yeah.
That's just the mentality of working here. There's so much we could just sit here and ramble
Or
about.
babble about.
But like
yeah.
going back to the R&D meetings, like just the way we interact here is so unprofessional sometimes. But it works because we're friends and we're like a second family. So there's been times in a meeting where someone comes up with some idea and I'm like, that's stupid. And then we figure out why I think it's stupid, and maybe I might be wrong.
Yeah.
Like, it happens. But just that type of interaction, I think, helps even more because I feel like, at least for me, people are less afraid to speak up.
Yeah.
Like, no one's going to be mad at you if you call someone out or tell them that you think that idea needs to change.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that helps a lot with it.
Yeah, I get shot down on so many things.
Yeah, you get a beating sometimes.
But once a month, maybe, something works out.
Yeah.
Hey, dude, we're making 3,800 parts right now.
Yeah, we
so,
are.
It's all
Grimace
good.
is in there getting some nice little
Getting
things
some
in.
loving.
3,800 boys.
Yeah, I wish.
We ain't forgot about you.
Absolutely not. They're a really important platform to this business. And I think the cool thing is, I would say, 90% of people wrench on their own projects outside of work who are in that R&D meeting, of all varying levels. Either people are racing at the weekends or people are diving into, I'm doing
Old
stupid
muscle.
truck stuff right
Yeah,
now.
you
We're
got
all
truck
doing
stuff. Steve Hickman's working on his old mobile. Now he's making a V8 Colorado out of hodgepodge, trash picking parts. Like,
And that thing's going to be fast.
It's gonna be great
that's one
burnouts.
thing I have yet to do is literally expand outside of our platforms, because every time I think about it or try, I'm like,
like,
nope.
why?
Yeah,
It's
I'm like,
why,
nope,
yeah. There's no
nope.
point.
Dude, I wish you still had your eye on. I
Yeah, I
really
know.
do.
Oh, I got
So
one.
does
loved,
he.
I loved seeing you
I got
riff on that
one
thing.
for you if you want it.
Okay.
2K.
Oh.
Yeah. It's got a nice hood on it too.
Hood?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was telling Tim yesterday I need another iron.
Huh?
Here, let me pull it up. It's a
Someone
nice
got a CF hood?
one. I believe so.
I saw a carbon fiber ion hood on a car for sale the other day, and I was like, oh, why can't you just part out?
How do you get? I feel like an old person. How do you get back to Marketplace?
I see somebody asking for
Don't
a
ask
stealth
me.
heat exchanger for a red line. It's
it's from the
on
Bookface
It's
app.
on the list.
Not from Messenger.
And drop turbo blankets soon. Tyler, where are we at?
Technology.
Turbo blankets.
Springs.
Where?
We're waiting on springs.
Red on springs.
Yep.
Yeah, we got the blankets
not
here.
I was going to say,
but
it is
we're
spring.
waiting
What
on
are
springs.
you waiting on?
I'm waiting for the season to change to come out with a product.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, we're just waiting on turbo blanket springs, and then those will be ready. We'll have those for the Z series and ZFRs for the Ecotech first,
And then the LTG versions.
Yep.
Yeah.
going down the line.
Oh, would you look at that?
What's really cool about those turbo
that's an arcade
blankets
sport,
is,
It's a leper year, but
Yeah.
you know, if you try and slap
Oh.
a generic one on, you can hinder the wastegate travel or a slew of other things that you run into. So having a bolt-on turbo or bolt-on spring-on
Spring-on.
Yeah.
turbo blanket that is designed specifically for that turbo is going to be really nice, especially with the Ecotech's turbo location. I don't think it's great, you know, for as far
No.
as heat goes.
no, it's not.
So and underhood temps, anything to keep underhood temps down. I've seen significant improvements in IATs or intake air temps. Sorry, with just wrapping exhaust like headers.
Yeah.
I wrapped my headers back in the day on my Grand Prix, and I think the IATs dropped like 30 or 40 degrees.
Dang, ain't bad.
Which is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
especially on a
In like
3800.
Yeah, and my current turbo car, I got because of the Z3 turbo kit, the intake runs right over top of the turbo. So you know, I got a turbo blanket on that. But it's a
Intake
good-
dumps
it's a good
down.
product.
Help your spool on your turbo.
Yeah, keep all that heat in there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, I did tune the hood right off of Mike's car.
He did. At highway speeds.
Yeah, we were out doing a rip in this TVS car in Mexico, of course. And I'm staring at the laptop, and he's just giving her the beans, and I hear this loud noise, and like everything goes dark for a split second, and then it's normal, and I'm like, what happened? I look at him, and he's looking at me, looking in the mirrors, like my hood flew off.
And you look in the rear view and it's just.
We were well into triple digits, and it's just
That's a thing on aftermarket hoods, man. You
the
have to
the
pin
layers
them.
separated.
Yup.
And the top half is gonzo.
Yep. Oh, there's JPL. He's gonna ask
Happy
ask
Friday,
Bo
brother.
if he can get those silver wheels. Woo. Every video he's commented on lately.
I had a local guy want to buy them the other day, and I told him a price, and he's like, "Okay." I'm like, "Crap." Ah!
I don't actually want to sell them. Well, that was like you came to me and you gave me a price for the Ion, and I said,
Crap.
crap. Yeah. Here you go.
That's all right.
The car was back here the other day. It was good to see it.
One thing I think we need to let be known to our customers through talking about engineering today. We beat each other up on how cheaply we can make something inefficiently.
Yep.
Like we argue that, especially like Tim C. Oh my goodness, man! Like we beat on each other about how can we make this the best possible product for the most affordable price for the end user.
And there's always something. There's always something you can find. And the more produced a part is going to be, the bigger of an impact it has.
Yeah.
So, like, on a high volume part, it may be worth the time it takes to shave $1 off of the labor.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of products too that like Steve Choi, he does all our ordering and it helps with Krieg with kitting. You know, a lot of these products need to be kitted into boxes or assembled into a full unit, and that requires manpower as well. So, you know, if you say, "Oh yeah, here's 10 different pieces, they're all good to go," and then you throw them at these guys, and you're like, here, put them in a box, make them make sense. Then they might not know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, shout out to the kitting guys. Those guys are very efficient at what they do, and they know all the parts in and out because they touch all of them.
all of
Yeah.
them.
And what's so
Really
cool is
valuable
I
part,
love when they run in, to Al or me or you or Ryan or anybody.
Whoever.
Hey, what's up with this? Does it look right? Is this how is this how it's expected to be? Is this going to be a problem? Is that going to be a problem? Because they might not have a car, and so that
I've noticed that, like, as our kitting team has kind of developed over the past few years, is that more frequently, and this is just giving credit to the guys we have on that crew now, they're familiar enough with the stuff that they know if something, a lot of times if something looks wrong.
Yep.
Or if the finish is bad or something's machined wrong. Like, they handle the parts often enough that if one comes in and it looks a little different,
They
they don't
out.
just throw it in the bag. They go and find someone that is involved with that part and be like, hey, this doesn't look right.
Is this good enough? Can I send this to the
I
customer?
really appreciate when stuff like that happens because that saves an email or a phone call we have to have with a customer that accidentally got something wrong.
Yeah.
And what
Yep.
I've seen from that crew is that they want to see the stuff under the hood. They want to see where the part goes. It's not like, oh, I just need to know a part number and I need to know what goes with another part number in a box. They want to know how it functions. They want to know where it goes under the hood.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, if they
the
know how
interest from that current crew is
Yeah,
awesome, man.
that's a good one right now.
if they know how it functions, that gives them a lot better grasp on how to, making sure it's right and
Right, like say they're kitting up a PCV kit. If they understand how the kit works and what car it goes on and how it goes in the car, then they have a mental picture of it's going to need this many lines and they're going to be about this long.
what
And
way
so
the
Yep.
fitting's orientated.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ryan Kearney, I'm going to grab your question. Yes, the entry-level turbo kit is 110% worth it. Most people will never use what the full LSJ complete swap kit can make. While it's plenty of fun, you can make a ton of power on the entry-level kit. I mean, I made 400 wheel on a bone stock lawn block, bone stock exhaust, E85.
Bone stock intercooling.
Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't even have any cooling mods. And
Well, I mean, I made 400 once.
yeah, that's true.
It'd probably make 370 on the back-to-back pole, but
But all of your supercharged mods, all your cooling mods can be applicable to that. And if you've got a nice cooling setup, you're going to make a lot of reliable horsepower for a very affordable price.
It's the best.
I do recommend going straight to the Stage 2, though.
Yep.
Yeah,
absolutely.
skip the KO4.
Yep. Z54.
Because if you don't, you will later. Just save a few bucks now.
Yeah, you will. You will. You'll have a taste of the turbo life and then go, oh,
It's a gateway drug.
should have spent the extra 600 on that Z54.
If there was a spelling bee that you had to lose, I bet Jason could
Jason
win.
wouldn't win. We love you, Jason. Mike sent me, he spelled break the wrong way. Everyone always says breaks and spells it B-R-A-K-E,
Yeah.
and he spelled it the wrong way. He was trying to use, yeah,
Double wrong.
double wrong. It's okay.
It happens.
Hey, Pooper 409, if you want to sell that TVS, yeah, I'll take it.
I don't. I ain't want it.
Says the guy who's just preaching the entry level.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Do as I say, not as I
But
do.
it's different, bro.
No, I just like blowers right now. I'll get back in a turbo car and like it again.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
You just mentioned fittings, Tyler. It made me think, like, our fuel systems right now are too expensive. The fittings are too expensive. Like,
Yep.
the AN line fittings, like one of our kits, ATS fuel feed line kit that's just been released, the 180 bend on that, super expensive. And it's like, what's kind of cool is we also have these numbers in our head where we all kind of click and, like, that kit's too expensive.
Yep.
Like, we need to... How can we cut the cost? So we're working, like, we invest the time. If one fitting's $20 and we can get it for $10 somewhere else, we're
Yeah.
going to find out how to do that. And
Yep.
we're going to push that saving onto the end user.
Yep.
Yeah, my favorite part too about the meeting is a fitting or something, or a new billet piece or whatever it may be. We bring it in and we set it on the table. Then everybody passes it around. And we just fiddle it.
Yep.
I'm like, what do you think?
What do you think?
And they're
Yeah.
like, try it out. Try it out. Put the bolts in. Put the bolts in, man. Oh yeah. Oh, ooh,
And we're
that's
just a
nice.
bunch of nerds. We're like, yeah, the thread engagement's really good on this.
This is great. Oh, I felt a catch there.
This bolt has a radius on it.
That's the stuff that really happens.
We
bro.
do. We nerd
Yeah.
out about really.
And then, somebody's in there is like, I don't like this. I don't like that.
That little part.
And normally the person that designed it at that point is like, you gotta be kidding me. You're bothered about
Yeah.
that? Like,
I've
really?
spent a week on this. 2 weeks.
Well, I think it's dumb.
Yep. Yeah, Noah, you can email me. You don't have a base model, do you?
Who are you talking to?
Noah Hammock said his long tubes are hitting his coolant elbow. And the only thing I can think of is a L61 has a different thermostat housing. But how do you go about making products for new platforms? Ah, okay. So this is a great question. Thanks, Cruise Missile. Hey, Matt Chevalier. So I guess we'll go back to kind of our latest big platform was the ATS. They came out in 2013, and at the time I think we had like 6 ATSs on site. So yeah, where we start is getting
one.
a car.
Get 1 or 6.
Yeah, 1 or 6,
Yeah.
Anywhere in between.
Yeah, if it's Sonic, we might
And
have 7.
we actually, even more recently, our Model 3. We got the Model 3, and Zoom's been huge into Teslas, and he said, I want everyone to drive this. So he passed the keys around to everyone who's related to any sort of product development, except for Al. And
Yeah, I don't like electric. It scares me.
and
You'll
he said,
go
here.
180 miles an hour. in
I'm
a
not saying it
Saturn
makes
Ion.
sense.
Our brains are weird.
Yeah.
And he said, okay, what don't you like about it? And
What can we make better?
immediately, one of our biggest thing was ride height because, we're
We
car
gotta get it
guys,
low,
so we
Zoom.
got to get it low. So we started working on coilovers and lowering springs. But then on top of that, it was, it seems to push a lot. It's really heavy in the front. Where do you go from there? Bigger rear sway bar. That's in development. So it's really just OEMs make cars for the general public. Even if they're a performance-oriented model, they still have to appeal to your 65-year-old Jim Bob who's buying it and who's going to cruise 70 down the highway. We are the 1%ers that will take it, we'll thrash on it, we'll get the tires to debead and almost roll it over. But
Yeah,
we start from there and we say, okay,
Hop in it.
what sucks? What sucks about this? Manual cars, you get in and the shifter's too long or if it's too sloppy or whatever, and then we start taking things apart. Zoom's Model S, his Model S Plaid that he got, he brought it in and he says, I don't really like the suspension. So we get up under there and we're just kind of looking. Sometimes that's all you can do is look at it.
Sometimes that's all you can do. Would you just look at it?
and then you make observations. I mean, the Model 3 and the Plaid bumper has these 2 little tiny slits right on the edge. And we're just standing there looking at it, and it's like, well, what does that do? Well, it clearly channels the air somewhere. So you follow the path, and then the wheels off.
Al dives into 3 nights worth of wormhole research onto what these things are and what
Exactly.
they do and how I can incorporate them into my top speed half-mile car,
Yeah,
Yeah.
which I'm going to do now.
yeah.
Yeah.
And, we don't make body parts here, but there are,
At least not pretty ones.
yeah.
But we want to have full platform understanding.
Yeah.
And we want to be, specialists.
And yeah, then you follow that and you get up in the wheel well and you're looking at the spring and then there's a weight on the control arm and we just stand there and we're like, well, what in the world could that be for? Okay, well, it's obviously something, probably harshness or vibration or can we delete that? We like to make things lighter, which is easier to make things faster. So
Especially with a Tesla.
yeah,
That's kind of all you
that's
can
kind of
do.
all you can do.
Yeah. Yeah, and switching back to combustion engines, it's like, well, we know people are gonna want to make more power at some point. It's given. So it's like, okay, well, let's start juicing something up.
Yeah.
What can we get to on a stock turbo? Okay,
Yeah.
what if we put another turbo?
Yep.
Where does the engine last? And we're kind of thick in with that with the ATS-V right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a prototype turbo kit, and it's, where are we getting with that? Where's the motor starting to cause issues?
Yeah, and by now it's starting to become common knowledge that the stock turbo limit is kind of the limit for the engine. If you're really zinging those, if you've got meth and E85 and all that, I mean, stock turbo cars are making upwards of 650 almost 700
With a
horsepower
boatload of torque.
with a
as well.
lot of torque. So, this engine comes from the factory with forged titanium rods and pistons, and while we've never seen a failure there, we see failures in other areas. So then we take it back to the drawing board and we go, all right, what can we do? And we're just a bunch of dudes, but we can somehow end up with some pretty great products, which is pretty cool. But GM is typically not doing that. They're getting it to a level where, okay, this is fast, everyone can enjoy it, but it can also last 200,000 miles.
Absolutely.
So they're not thinking,
Yeah.
how do we make 700 horsepower of this little V6? And we want to say, well, how do we make 1,000?
Yeah.
But
How do
with
we go
daily
up?
Driver reliability, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be turnkey. You can commute in it, you can drive it, and you can beat on it, and it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good standard, though. I'd say any of our platforms, if we can't double the factory horsepower, we're not doing it right.
Yeah. Double or quadruple.
Or,
You know?
much more. But
Yeah.
basically every
We're well past triple in the Sonic.
Yeah, we are.
every basic build, something that the consumer's going to drive to work every day is easily double the factory horsepower.
Yep.
With usually
reliability.
not very much stuff.
Yeah. And yeah, keeping it reliable so someone can drive their fun car all the time.
I think GM's really good at leaving a lot on tap, and then we get in there and untap it.
And it's showing less and less.
Definitely.
Like when the LNF came out and a tune could pick up like 100 foot-pounds, that was huge.
Yeah.
And then you get into a Sonic, well, granted it's a generator engine, so, whatever. But you throw a tune on it and you pick up 20 to 40 horse. And,
Yeah.
and it's...
Their efficiency goals are definitely making our job harder, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's certainly nothing we can't work around. The biggest thing is just airflow and fuel.
Yeah. Yeah. Turbo size. And Al worked tirelessly on the 1.4 because, and that's another thing that
Gosh,
I'll
that
come
was
in.
a long summer.
One great thing about ZZP is someone will get to a point and say, that's it. That's all you can do. And someone else, usually Zoom, will say, no. No, you can't just stop.
Unacceptable.
Unacceptable. You can't stop there. And as everyone knows, if someone says impossible, we make it happen. It was going to be
It's a big problem
impossible
to say that word here.
to get to 300 horse on a 1.4.
Yeah, when we started that project, like low 200s was it.
Yeah.
That's what you're gonna get. That's what those cars make.
Yep. That was it. Yes, Mitchell, we
Wrong.
have almost tripled LTG power. We've made over 650, and they put
Quadrupled LSJ power.
they put down to the wheels about 200 to 220. Yeah, quadrupled LSJ, tripled LNF.
With the,
I was
with
saying
the stock
double
series
for what
2.
you can drive to work every day, not what we race.
Yeah, what's a stock L67 make?
At the tire,
Yeah, the tire, like
195 horsepower.
So we've quadrupled that, if not.
Jeez.
It's guarantee it's more than 5x at the crank.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was being very, very.
Oh yeah. No. I get what you were saying, and that's why I said
Like double
make
is
that
the
reliably.
reliable level.
absolutely.
Like someone can drive a 400 wheel LSJ all day, every day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we did.
I did for years.
And what are we planning with the 1.4 right now?
Yeah.
I mean,
Like
Double-
I don't necessarily want to give numbers, but it's going to be daily drivable because that Sonic
Easily
has got
double.
I
Maybe make
think
low
a
100s?
bolt-on daily
Low
driver
100s.
manual trans 300 horse Sonic is going to be a fairly common thing by
Within
this
a
time
year.
next year.
Yep.
Oh yeah, all day, every day. Like,
I can't wait till we
and
it's
put
going to
the
be
first one
magical.
together for a customer.
oh, I know.
Oh,
'Cause
my
People are gonna
They're
be
gonna blow
so pumped because it really is a completely different car.
Oh,
It
entirely.
sounds different.
Like go from the red Sonic to the blue turd. It's completely different.
Because
car.
a V3 it's a fun little daily, but that's kind of where it stops. We ran 12.8, 12.99.
12.9.
Yeah, 12.9 on a V3.
I did.
5 seconds. He did. Um,
Sorry.
it's a fun daily. You like to rip around in it. You throw our new turbo on, and it is actually like a fast car
Yeah.
at
It's
that
got
point.
big turbo feel to
It does.
That's when I started going through the turbo upgrade steps was when I had switched to having Tyler drive the car, and one of the things he kept saying was, "It's actually fast on the back end now."
Yeah.
Because with the small stock frame turbo, pretty much you hit fourth gear and you're just waiting for the end of the track.
Yep. You just.
But once we started finding the choke points and getting some decent power out of that thing, it back halves like crazy.
Woo! Now it's starting to get scary.
Yeah, and as you experience out on the street, it's like you're merging onto a highway, and you're like, "Oh, you're freaking moving."
Yeah.
You're
By the
moving.
time
You can
get
keep
down
up
the
with
slip
some
road, you're
good
like,
cars.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
Is it a Sonic?
Mike, how many neutrals are acceptable? Well, if it's a 4T, probably all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and Mitchell, I don't know why you deleted your comment, but Alan Mayo's Camaro, we made 650 back in 2018, 2019? It was a couple years ago. But we plan to take Matt's LTG to quadruple digits.
Yeah,
we
that
have
was
the turbo.
We have
I'm
the
not
turbo.
sure.
We have
I
the
don't
turbo.
think Mayo's car has ever raced at that level.
No, it didn't. It
No.
was the highest, the 10.3 pass was on mid 500s. And
That sounds
as soon
about
as we
Is that
turned
what
it up,
makes now?
Yeah, I made 570 the other day, just piddling around.
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah, when we turned it, because on the dyno, there's, for those of you guys that don't know, when you're on the dyno, there's less inertia fighting the acceleration of the drivetrain, and so you can kind of, the parts will last a little longer on the dyno than they will on a sticky track. So we were able to make more power than the car raced at on the dyno, but once we turned it past the mid 500, that's when the drivetrain stuff started breaking at the track.
Yep.
So it hasn't gone down the strip on full power.
and that's a perfect example. Matt was destroying axles, and then we got better axles in the car, and then he was destroying drive shafts, and then, well, Alan did a lot of work himself. He switched that car over to a 8L90 out of the V8 cars, and now he's got, I don't know, some fancy drive shaft in it, but like that car is going to go really fast. Matt's LTG is going to go really fast, but especially trying to stage a big turbo automatic car where you got to get up on the converter, get up on boost, and
On a
you're
fairly tight factory converter.
and you're sitting there, making 600 foot-pounds through a drive shaft that's sitting there like squeezing for every inch of its life.
Yes, Mitchell, it's a stock block forged ZZP internals.
Yes, stock
Head
actual
studs.
block,
Stock head too, actually.
stock
Just
crank.
valve springs and cams.
Yeah.
Yeah, that. F-35 is bad.
Yeah, F-35. You really gotta drive it gentle. Don't pull a bow and no lift shift
second gear
it.
just parties.
Second gear does party, but when you no
don't
lift
wanna
to third,
Don't-
So much fun.
Second gear's so
I
fun
bet the
until it
guys
doesn't work.
who were involved in upgrading the LSJ into the LNF were the same guys that made the F-35. Like,
yeah.
remember that time where we made something better, but it was actually worse? Let's do that again.
Let's do it. Let's try it.
My suggestion would be if you're going to make anything over 350 wheel, look into an F40.
If you want to really drive your car,
Yep. If you
Get an
wanna, if you-
F40.
Yep.
it sucks that
You
it's a
just-
limitation, but you have to.
Yeah.
And there are still
Just be glad that we have an option that bolts in. Most platforms don't.
Yeah.
You're going several thousand deep into upgrading everything about whatever your stock trans is.
yeah, like Neon SRT4s. You have a stock trans that will destroy third gear every time you drive it, or fully billet everything.
Yep.
And
Yes.
so you're looking at 10 grand.
That's basically how 3800 is.
Yep.
And yeah, that's still always on the back burner of things to address as far as engineering, but
And that's another great thing is we have the people passionate about it that it keeps getting brought up. And while Zoom's talked about, we've dumped hundreds of thousands of dollars into 4T research and trying to make it better, and we're still where we're at. But
it doesn't mean something's not going
it
to come
gets
along
brought
in the next
up
5 years.
every few months. So we kind of get re-sparked on that conversation, and maybe one day.
Maybe one day.
Yeah, I hear of these old test rigs that we've got kind of hidden, dusted
Oh, yeah.
up somewhere. I'm like, it'd be kind of fun to get that stuff out again.
So we're on the last 5 minutes, and we'll grab some questions here. Cruise missile, the 3.6, the NA. From what we hear, they don't take much power. it's really just not a big mod market,
Mm-mm.
which, we probably could have made it a big mod market, but starting with a 2-liter with a turbo is a lot easier than an NA36.
And after having an NA here, there's a lot of differences between
A
the
lot.
NA and the turbo motor. It's not like you can just bolt the turbos on.
No.
The oil drain, the coolant light. I mean, there's even the bolt holes on the turbo on different hole centers. So
Yeah.
Yeah, Jay said it perfectly up there. 350 with an F35. Above that, it gets scary. 400, if you're careful with it, is exactly right.
Yeah, you're granny shifting it. Let's see. What's up with the dual mass flywheel for the F40? Basically, any GM manual that came out after the LNF, so Regals, even Sonics, have a dual mass flywheel. They're super heavy, but they absorb almost all of the noise and vibration and harshness that comes along with a manual.
Yeah, they're a lot quieter.
So any old grandma can get in a cruise manual and drive it down the road.
Yeah.
It makes engaging the clutch a lot easier, but you obviously have your performance downfalls, rotating mass, all that.
Yeah, I love all of our lightweight flywheels. There's such an improvement. If you're a car guy looking to drive sporty and shift, and
You
you get in an LSJ even, and it's just like, boom.
Mm-hmm.
boom.
And those
Then
aren't
you
even
put a-
dual mass. Those are just
then you-
regular heavy steel flywheels.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
you put a lightweight, and it's like, boom, boom, boom.
Oh yeah, it's like a little dirt bike.
Yeah, that's it.
Jason asked, "What's the word on the blue car?" Well, we were shooting video yesterday,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
everything.
I think he was referencing a different blue car.
Sorry, your car, the Smash. blue
Yeah,
car.
Yeah.
Okay,
what's up,
sorry,
T-Bone?
sorry.
Yeah, T-Bone.
Oh,
Yeah.
T-Bone Tyler.
Yep. So T-Bone
I
Tyler.
drove past it
Oh
in the parking
god.
lot. I'm like, it looks pretty good on that side, and then
Oh, I know.
You
You drive on the left side, it's great. You drive on the right side, it's not. So, unfortunately, this weekend I was turning left, and somebody stopped and then didn't stop, and smashed right into the side of the blue car.
That's how they get you.
That's how they get you. And it appears to be pretty much total loss from the frame, but the engine and the drivetrain is still good, and I might be picking up another car this weekend.
Oh yeah, I got yell talk to you about that.
Love it, Tyler.
My commitment to these crap boxes is
It is unparalleled.
You need to throw an LSJ in a Sonic, man.
that'd be cool.
Nah,
Nah.
we got way better things to
Alright.
do.
Tyler makes me feel so good about myself because he's equally committed to shit boxes. as
Yep,
I am.
I know.
3800s and LSJs, like,
It's great.
it really just.
It's
I
great.
sleep good at night knowing that I'm not alone. JPL. All of our turbo kits come with a precision turbo, brother.
Yep, 3800 ones.
Not the good ones.
Not the big boy ones like Al likes, but any. The Saturn kit's plenty of turbo.
Yeah. Mike, I gave you my offer, $14. That's what you said it was worth. That's what I'm offering.
Sounds fair. I've seen what he's done to it.
Yep. Well, all right, guys. We are nearing 5 o'clock here. I really got to pee.
Yep.
So,
And it's Mr. Matt Meekoff's
50th birthday
We're going to
Happy
go
birthday, Matt.
enjoy some cold ones with the Mr. Matt.
with the boys. If anyone has any questions, feel free to hit up the chat. But we're going to skedaddle out of here, and we'll see you
Well, yeah,
next week.
don't head up the chat now.
Yeah, next week.
Next time.
Or email us. I don't know. Anyway.
Email Tyler.
Yeah, sure.
Yep.
Spam my inbox.
Tyler V at ZZP.
If anyone knows any really good videos on how to drive a manual, you can send them to tyler.v at
Also-
zzperformance.com.
Christ!
If you have-
Tyler,
I
man.
can't
Oh,
escape
my
it.
goodness.
driving manuals, driving courses for, basic merging in traffic and crossing a lane.
Yeah.
Boy, getting it from every direction here. Damn.
Kick you while you're down.
All right. We'll
All
see
right,
you guys.
Take it easy.
Bye.
Have a good
See you.
weekend.
Bye.
Oh, I gotta pee so bad. Like, I've been